Hello and welcome back. Today I'm doing my second part of my Nintendo E3 predictions because I said I was going to do 3 and then left it really late and only did 1. So here it is, here's part 2. This is things I think are possible, we might see them, but I don't think they're nearly as likely as what I talked about in part 1. I want to start off by talking about ports of old games, because the Switch has seen a lot of games ported to it, usually Wii U titles, but I think it has a lot of potential to have different ports come, and the first one I'd really like to see is Skyward Sword. As far as I know, all of the other 3D Zelda games, except for Breath of the Wild obviously, have had some kind of remake. We had the N64 games came to the 3DS, and Wind Waker and Twilight Princess came with a HD version on the Wii U. Whilst I'd really like to see these games come back as well, maybe in some kind of collection on the Switch, I think the next logical step would be to remake Skyward Sword. And I think the Switch makes a lot of sense. Given that you can use the Joy-Cons as individual controllers, that would essentially work like a Wii Remote and Nunchuck. And they both have motion controls, so we can bring that one-to-one sword play back. Also, I think with the way that Skyward Sword looked in the first place, a version on the Switch would look so much nicer. And also, the motion controls would probably be a bit more responsive than they were, because I know a lot of people had an issue with that. So that's why I think that this year could quite possibly be the year we'll see Skyward Sword HD. Next up, I'd really like to see a port of Mario Galaxy. Not just Mario Galaxy 1, but also the second game in there as well, as some kind of bundle collection. Because I think these games were really good. The Mario Galaxy games are still classics, if you ask me. And yeah, it would just work really well, again with the split Joy-Cons as a Wii Remote and Nunchuck kind of thing. It would work so well, and the graphics again, being brought over to the more HD graphics of the Switch, could be fantastic. Also, with Mario Maker 2 coming out, it's possible that that could get some kind of Galaxy style. They have the 3D World game style, so we know that it's not just limited to 2D, and Mario Galaxy had 2D sections, so they could just use those. And I think that would be a great way to advertise that, and I know a lot of people would be really interested to play those games again. So I think Mario Galaxy HD Collection is quite possible. So, one of the Wii U games that hasn't been ported to the Switch, there's not many left, but it's Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now, this game was fantastic, and it just kind of, it only failed because it was on the Wii U. I don't know if it failed in a selling sense, but just, it's not as revered as the other two, as far as I've heard. And I think it could do a lot better being on the Switch. Now, I seem to remember the developers from Monolith Soft saying that they weren't that interested in doing a port because of how big the game is. But that doesn't rule it out. I think it's still possible. One issue is that the Wii U version did have specific things that you needed the gamepad for, and so those things would either have to be in another menu or be done a different way, but I still think it would work, I still think it would be fine, and it would be just great to see that come to another system so more people can try it, because it's definitely worth trying. So, next up, I know tons of people have said this in the past, and it's never happened, and to be honest, it probably isn't gonna happen, but I really want to see a port of Mother 3. The other two games have been ported to the Wii U. We got Earthbound, then we got the first game as Earthbound Beginnings. I really want to see this one, because I've only played Earthbound, but I thought it was amazing, and I'd love to see where the game went after that. So it would... They've teased it before, they've mentioned it. I think it was E3 2014 when they had Robot Chicken doing the in-between thing. They addressed the fact that people wanted Mother 3, so they know. And I think they're just kind of gonna do it eventually, and I really hope so, because I really want to give it a go. It could also potentially tie in with maybe bringing other Game Boy Advance games to like an online service like they have for the NES games. And that would be a good way to bring it across as well as other things, and give more of an incentive for people to buy the online subscriptions. So, speaking of the NES games, there's been a lot of talk about whether they're going to bring Super Nintendo games to the same kind of service, either a different app or just build it into the same app. Whatever it is, I really want to see that. NES games are the kind of games that I'll go into and I'll play them for a bit, have a bit of fun and then leave. But Super Nintendo games have a lot of substance to them. Things like Super Mario World and A Link to the Past. Those are games you can really sit down and play for a long time. And I think bringing that would make the online subscriptions feel a lot more worthwhile than just the NES games. Also, it was quite a while back, data miners found slots and descriptions of certain Super Nintendo games in the online app. So it's most likely something that's being worked on or considered. So I think this could be the year that gets shown off. And maybe it'll cost a bit more, there'll be a more premium online subscription. But to be honest, I'd probably pay that. It would be great to see these games coming back again. Also, it does open the door for potentially Nintendo 64 online, or even further. But then again, if we're going into GameCube and Wii, I think that's severely unlikely. I don't even think we'll see N64 online, as much as I'd love that. But Super Nintendo Online, I think, has a fair shot. So, next, I'd like to talk about some of the DLC I think we could see. And, first of all, I know that this one's very unlikely, but I'd really love to see some DLC for Mario Odyssey. I played tons of Mario Odyssey, and I really thought it would make sense to add in a DLC bundle, add in a few more kingdoms. But that just never happened. We got the Luigi's Balloon World thing, which was a free update, and it was a lot of fun, but I just found it really weird that given how well DLC for the big games is doing right now, with Breath of the Wild's DLC selling really well, and then obviously the Smash Bros. Fighter Pass being a big thing, I find it weird that they didn't do that. Also, again with the data miners, they found costumes in the game that weren't in the base game. Most of those got brought out as a free update down the line, but now I might be wrong with this, it was a while ago I read it. I'm pretty sure they found a description of a Zelda hat and tunic. Like Link's hat and tunic, I mean. And that made me think, what if one of these downloadable kingdoms was Hyrule? And you could like capture all the Zelda enemies and have a boss fight against Ganon and whatever. That is not gonna happen, but it would be cool, and I'd like it. And even though it's this far down the line, it's probably more likely they'll make a Mario Odyssey 2 at this point. But I still want that, and I think it's not completely outside the realm of possibility. So, next, I mentioned in my last video that I think we will see the next Smash Bros. DLC character, and I'm pretty sure the other day Sakurai confirmed that before the tournament that happened. But I think my possible but not likely prediction is that we might get Banjo this time, and that's really wishful thinking. Now, I wrote this down a while ago, what I think might happen, and more recently there's been a bunch of kinda leaks, more rumours, whatever. Banjo's kinda being teased to be in Smash, or have a new game, or do something like that. And so, I would be so excited. Banjo is my most wanted character since I started playing Smash Bros. And I would really love to see him get in the game. And I think this might be the time. Also, with Microsoft and Nintendo having a much closer relationship now than ever before, and also the fact that certain characters that are in the base game got there because they were highly requested in the Smash Bros. Ballot of the last game. Banjo was surely high up in that ballot, I don't know for certain because I don't know the results, obviously, but with the amount of people on fan ballots and stuff requesting Banjo, there's no doubt that he was a really high up character. I also think this could tie in with some kind of Banjo-Kazooie Banjo-Tooie remake in the style of the Crash trilogy or the Spyro trilogy or something along those lines. I think that's more likely to come out on Xbox or PC, but I think it would be great for both companies then, and I really, really want this one to happen. So let's be hopeful there. So next, I want to talk about some of the new games I would like to see. Now obviously, it's difficult to say what a new game is going to be because we don't have anything to base it on, except for what's come out before. But, first of all, I think it's about time for the next Mario Kart. So, Mario Kart 9, or whatever they're going to call it. Because it always sells well, everybody knows Mario Kart, it's great. And it's been quite a while since Mario Kart 8, and obviously they brought 8 Deluxe to the Switch, but I think having a new game come to the Switch that's just really focused like the new one for the Switch would be great. And there's two ideas I really have for what it could be to kind of set itself apart from the others. Firstly, I'd love to see them go down the line of like Smash Bros. Ultimate, where they brought back every character, but don't bring back every character, bring back every single track. In every game they do the retro tracks, which is older tracks remastered in the HD new style. And I think it would be awesome to see a game where every single previous track came back remastered. Obviously, that would be a lot of work, and it would be way more tracks than we've ever seen in one game before. So, I don't think that's going to happen, it would just be cool. But next, the next thing I'd want to see with it is the idea of Nintendo Kart. Not just Mario. Because in Mario Kart 8's DLC and then in the deluxe version, they had Link as a character with a Hyrule stage, they had Animal Crossing characters, they had Splatoon characters. It seems like they're trying to kind of branch out and see how that would go. I'd love to see a game, the next one, where essentially imagine the Smash Bros. Roster, but in Mario Kart, and then all the tracks could be based on areas from Zelda and Kirby and the Fire Emblem. I don't play that one, so I don't know it. And Metroid, and Xenoblade Chronicles, all of them. Just all of the games. And that would be incredible. It would kind of be like with the Sega All-Stars games. I think that's a lot more likely than Mario Kart Ultimate, but really what I see happening is just new Mario Kart, some new tracks, some new items. Nothing as spectacularly new as that, but I still think whatever we get, Mario Kart 9 would be a lot of fun. So, apparently, a while back, Monolith Soft announced some new game they were working on, they were hiring for it. They've really not said anything about what their new game is. I think we might see that, because obviously we know it's in the works. We just don't know anything about it, so why not? Maybe it'll be revealed at the E3. I don't know. But I put that here because I think it would be awesome to see. The Xenoblade games are amazing. And whatever new IP they do, whether it's some kind of spin-off or more likely a whole new thing, I would love to see that. I want to see what they do next. So I don't really have a lot to say about it, just that they're working on something. I think we might see what it is, and that'll be a lot of fun. Similarly, Retro Studios have really not brought much out in the last 5 years. They brought the port of Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze to the Switch, and the rest has just kind of been shrouded in mystery. I just want to see what they've been working on, because surely they've been working on something. As a lot of people know, Reggie put out this image from his retirement gifts, and there was a picture from Retro Studios of him with different characters they've worked on. Now, standing behind a statue mostly obscured was like a weird robot hand or something. That's most likely a character from some new IP they're working on. So, obviously we don't know what that is. I think maybe now that they've kind of teased it, because that was probably deliberate, I think we might see what that is. I think it's just going to be some brand new IP where you play as a robot. Don't know what else you'll do, but that'll be fun. So I'm excited to see what happens with that. But obviously, they are now working on Metroid Prime 4. Maybe that project's going to be pushed aside a little bit, but, you know, I think we'll see something from them this time. The final thing I want to talk about is the chance of getting some new hardware. Now, I think there's been rumours for a while about a Switch Mini or Switch Pro. Now, I think the Switch Pro is unlikely to happen right now, but the idea of a Switch Mini, I think, would work quite well. I think a lot of people primarily play their Switch in handheld mode, so why not bring out a version a little bit less powerful, a little bit cheaper, just a handheld. It doesn't have detachable controllers, it doesn't plug into your TV, just a handheld version. I think that would be really good, especially with a lot of people. Obviously we might see Animal Crossing this time, Animal Crossing is coming out soon, and a lot of people play Animal Crossing on the 3DS and like to just take it with them and play it on the go. It would make sense for them. I mean, I can kind of see them bringing out a Switch Mini Animal Crossing bundle. I know that would sell really well. So, yeah, I think that's quite possible. I think if they do bring out a Pro version, it would be really cool to see one that was maybe, again, not a hybrid, just docked, but also could have a lot more power and have certain games that are, if there's certain games that are too much to play on a regular Switch, they could just bring out a Switch Pro version. Again, I don't think we're going to see that. That's just me thinking about it on the side. But Switch Mini, I think has an okay chance. So that's everything I have to say about things I think are possible but not super likely this year's E3. So leave a comment what you think we might see, or what you think we won't see. Even if it's like got no chance of happening, just put it down there anyway, why not? And in my next video, I'll be doing just that. I'll be writing about things I have no expectation to see, and will be incredibly surprised if we do see, but it's fun to talk about. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye.